This would not have happened if the Philippines listened to Singapore's warning. That is the title of this video, and a lot of people said that it's a really important video, and honestly, you have to check it out, Vision. So of course, that made me very excited. I love the Philippines, having been to the Philippines, and now have always felt this growth in my heart for the Philippines that now it's become a part of me. And I truly believe that I care so much about the Philippines that I am most likely planning on living there. One of the most beautiful places, and yes, I believe in the Philippines regardless of its certain issues that some people may have with it. It applies everywhere. I guarantee you, wherever you might live, there will be a lot of issues inside that a lot of people don't realize, but regardless, I am excited for this video because it really is important. So come join me. Let's go.
Si Lee Kuan Yew, ang founding father ng Singapore, ay nagbabala sa buong mundo tungkol sa Pilipinas. Ngunit walang sino man ang sumeryoso rito. Bakit? Imagine this, katropa. Isa sa pinakamatalinong individual ng 20th century. Isang leader na bumago sa isang maliit na fishing village at ginawa ito bilang isa sa pinakamuunlad na bansa sa mundo, ang tumingin sa Pilipinas at napailing.
I truly believe the Philippines is already en route to that. And I know many people are going to explain and emphasize a lot of problems, but I think the most important thing is that you should, as the people of the Philippines, you have to realize the potential. As long as you know the potential is there and don't truly believe that it's just gone, just like I guarantee Singapore probably felt exactly like that. I guarantee a lot of its citizens probably felt exactly like that. Like, there's no hope. You know, we're a fishing village. That's it. We're just this. But it's about those people who see that vision, right, about this place. And I see that truly about the Philippines. And I guarantee a lot of you do as well. But there is those people who just don't, right? And it's important to emphasize that the Philippines has so much capability. I'm telling you, the islands that they have, the beauty that they have, the buildings that they've already built, right? And yes, of the other issues, of course, but the beauties that they already have, the growth and potential is so abundant. It's incredible. So important to realize that.
May nakita siyang paparating, isang bagay na mapanganib. Nagsalita siya tungkol dito, nagbabala tungkol dito. Ngunit walang sino man ang seryosong nakinig sa kanya. Ngunit ano nga ba ang eksaktong sinabi niya tungkol sa Pilipinas? At bakit pagkalipas ng mga dekada, ang kanyang babala ay tila nagaganap na? Manatiling nakatutok, katropa, dahil sa mga susunod na minuto, tatalakayin natin ng mas malalim ang huling babala ni Lee Kuan Yew tungkol sa Pilipinas. Pero bago po natin simulan ang talakayan na ito, inaanyayahan ko po kayo na i-like ang video nito dahil isa po yung napakalaking tulong para sa aming mga content creator. Maraming salamat po. Upang maunawaan ang bigat ng kanyang babala, kailangan muna nating kilalanin ang tao sa likod ng mga salita.
Yeah.
Si Lee Kuan Yew ay hindi lamang isang leader. Siya ay isang bisyonaryo, isang strategist, at isang tao na bumago sa isang isla na walang kinabukasan at ginawa itong isa sa pinakamuunlad na bansa sa mundo.
Exactly. You see that? An island with no future. I guarantee that was probably a statement that was just normal for a lot of Singaporeans, right? But it's all about the people who see the opportunity, who see the growth potential, then act on it. I'm telling you right now, even more than probably what Singapore was, what the Philippines is now, is probably the most exceptional potential. It already has amazing people. I'm not saying that Singapore doesn't, but the Philippines already excels at so many things. They do so many things right that I guarantee you the Philippines in the future, I could see it. And I've already been to like BGC. BGC is a beautiful example. I'm not saying I want all the Philippines to be like that, but BGC is a wonderful example. Like, people think the Philippines is like a country that is only like slum or this or that. I've seen people say that. And me having been to the Philippines, I always defend. I'm like, no, it's not. right? There's so much more potential. There's so many beauties in the Philippines, and its people aren't like what you would expect. And I think that is the most beautiful thing, and that should show you potential is so abundant in the Philippines.
Nang makamit ng Singapore ang kalayaan noong 1965, ito ay nasa isang malagim na kalagayan. Ang bansa ay walang likas na yaman, walang naimbak na kayamanan at walang naitatag na militar. Ang tensyon ay nagbabantang sirain ang bansa at laganap ang kawalan ng trabaho. Para sa marami, tila nakatakdang mabigo ang Singapore. Ngunit sa ilalim ng pamumuno ni Lee Kuan Yew, nalabanan ng Singapore ang mga posibilidad. Nagtayo siya ng isang pamahalaan na mahusay, disiplinado at hindi corrupt. Itinaguyod niya ang meritocratic system sa bansa, isang sistema kung saan ang mga individual lamang na may magandang educational background at malinis na life record ang maaaring maging public servants ng Singapore. Nilabanan niya ang katiwalian sa pamamagitan ng kamay na bakal. Nagpatupad ng mahigpit na mga patakaran para mapanatili ang kaayusan at inuuna ang edukasyon bilang pundasyon ng pambansang pag-unlad. Gumamit siya ng mahigpit na mga batas at matinding mga hakbang upang mapanatili ang katatagan. Ang kanyang estilo ng pamumuno ay hindi nakaligtas sa mga kritisismo, ngunit tingnan mo naman ang naging resulta. Sa loob lamang ng ilang dekada, ang Singapore, mula sa isang maghihirap na bansa, ay isa na ngayong global economic powerhouse.
Wow.
Ipinagmamalaki ang isa sa pinakamataas na GDP per capita sa buong mundo. Ngayon, ihambing natin ito sa Pilipinas noong 1960s. Sa panahon ngayon, ang Pilipinas ay itinuturing na isang rising star sa Asia.
Yeah.
Ang Maynila, na madalas tawaging Pearl of the Orient, ay isang...
And that should be taken as inspiration, right? The Philippines in 1965, while Singapore was suffering very, very badly, the Philippines was a rising star, was doing better than them. So, as many would probably take it the opposite and be like, oh, yeah, look, and then we failed. No, you should take that as inspiration, as there was a point where you were the rising star, right? And you are still, in a sense, even with whatever is going on, because you've done it before. You can do it again. And the beauty is, you can look at Singapore as a beautiful example, because if you were in a dire situation like the Singapore was, to come out of it on top, as they are now, and to have one individual be a very important, kind of gear in that, or a beautiful cog in that machine to create what Singapore is now. I'm telling you, the Philippines, as soon as that person comes in, I'm telling you, there's so much potential in the Philippines. I just truly believe it. I know I'm saying it over and over, but I'm saying it over and over because I really want you guys to understand. I believe that more than I believed in anything. After having been there, I'm telling you, with my friends, every bit of it, I believe, 100,000%.
Abalang lungsod na may modernong mga infrastruktura, malakas na ekonomiya at isang umuunlad na middle class. Ang bansa ay may ilan sa mga pinakamahusay na universidad sa buong mundo at tahanan ng mahuhusay at edukadong manggagawa.
Yep.
Marami ang naniniwala na ang Pilipinas ay nasa landas upang maging isa sa mga pinakamuunlad na bansa sa Asia. Nangunguna sa mga bansa tulad ng Singapore, Taiwan at South Korea. Ngunit may nangyaring hindi inaasahan. Habang ang ibang bansa ay patuloy na umunlad, ang Pilipinas ay tila napag-iwanan. Ano nga ba ang mangyari? Dito pumapasok ang babala ni Lee Kuan Yew. Si Lee Kuan Yew ay prangta. Hindi niya binalutan ng magagandang salita ang kanyang mga pahayag. Minsan ay sinabi niya,
The Philippines is a country with a great people, but with a soft, forgiving culture. It doesn't punish people for their mistakes, especially those in power.
Saglit nung isipin yan, katropa. Soft, forgiving culture. Ano kaya ang ibig niya sabihin doon? Naniniwala si Lee Kuan Yew na ang pag-unlad ng isang bansa ay nakasalalay sa disiplina, tuntunin ng batas at pananagutan. Hinangaan niya ang katatagan at talento ng mga Pilipino at pinuri ang kanilang kakayahang umangkop at magtagumpay.
Exactly.
Nakita niya na ang mga Pilipinong nag-migrate sa ibang bansa ay madalas na umunlad sa ilalim ng mas organisadong sistema. Isang patunay na ang problema ay hindi kailanman tungkol sa kanilang kakayahan, kundi tungkol sa kapaligiran na kanilang ginagalawan.
Their environment, not their
Sa
ability.
madaling salita, may nakita siyang flaw o kahinaan sa pamahala at kultura ng bansa. Ang korupsyon, kawalan ng kahusayan at ang pagpapahintulot sa maling gawain ay talamak sa Pilipinas. Napansin niya kung paano ginagamit ng matataas na opisyal ang mga pondo ng bayan sa maling paraan, ngunit hindi naman napaparusahan. Napansin din niya na ang mga politiko na inausahan ng graft at plunder ay hindi lamang nakakaiwas sa parusa, kundi madalas pang tanggapin pabalik sa opisina ng mismong mga taong ninakawan nila. Ang justice system ng bansa, ayon sa kanya, ay masyadong mabagal ang pag-usad. Ang mga kaso
So he believes essentially that the problem isn't necessarily that the Filipinos are forgiving, but more so that they're forgiving, especially in higher powers, right? Because it's one thing to forgive, right, but never forget. And I believe in that, and I love the Philippines for that because they're a very understanding culture, very kind people. But they should take that kind of ideology. This is going to sound a little dumb, but the ideology of kind of Muhammad Ali, right, is like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Kind of like float like a butterfly, be very kind, respectful, loving, like you are, the Filipinos are. But sting like a bee in the sense that as soon as somebody betrays you, right, or let's say corruption, you don't play with that. It's over. Like it's done. As soon as you got even a lick of corruption, as soon as you took even a fund out, right? You do this, for example, with a lot of Filipinos have done this and shown a lot of this in the sense of some content creators, right? Like let's say that one guy, I forgot his name, but he did that thing with that tattoo lady and he just did a lot of different scams that caused a lot of bad trust within his community because he literally took money from others that I saw, or you guys have also told me in some stories. But because of that, the trust is broken, right? It's done. That should be done with corruption, especially with higher power. Like as soon as it happens, it's just like, nope, not even a little grain of respect. I've lost respect. That's what he's kind of trying to say that you should be having. So float like a butterfly, sting like a bee when it comes to people completely betraying you, taking your money, anything like that, then it should be one of those instances, right? Because this isn't like a family matter of like, hey, they called me a puta, and then you're like, damn, like, and then you forgive later down the line. No, this is more so like we're playing with the country at this point. When you're at a higher power, there is no like forgive you. This should be like sting like a bee. It's done. You're done. You absolutely lost trust. There is no coming back from that kind of thing that he used that probably for Singapore as well.
ay tumatagal ng maraming taon. Minsan ay umaabot pa ng dekada na nagpapahintulot sa mga may kapangyarihan at tayamanan na manipulahin ang sistema pabor sa kanila. Ang mga malalaking iskandalo ng korupsyon ay nagdudulot ng galit sa publiko. Ngunit pagkaraan ng ilang sandali, maglalaho ang inay at babalik ang lahat sa normal hanggang sa sumiklab ang panibagong iskandalo. Nangangamba si Lee Kuan Yew na ang ganitong pattern kung saan ang mga nakakasala ay pinapatawad imbis na panagutin ay makahahadlang sa Pilipinas na makamit ang buong potensyal nito. Sa kabaligtaran, itinayo ni Lee Kuan Yew ang Singapore sa pundasyon ng mahigpit na pamahala at zero tolerance para sa katiwalian. Tiniyak niya na ang mga opisyal, gaano man kataas ang posisyon o ranggo, ay mabilis na mapaparusahan para sa anumang maling gawain. Naniniwala siya na ang isang bansa ay kailangang magpatupad ng disiplina sa lahat ng antas, mula sa liderato hanggang sa karaniwang mamamayan. Kung walang pananagutan, lalala ang katiwalian.
So it's more so like, if you take a cent, if you take a penny for yourself, you're done. I don't care how high you are. I don't care what power you have. He's saying that the Philippines should implement exactly that. You're done. You're done. The end. You took a penny for yourself. This is like $1 million project. You took a penny, get out, right? If you even see a hint of it, get out, right? It's done. And I think that exact thing is really, honestly, it's a perfect strategy. Because obviously, if you use that for anything else, like let's say relationships, that's not really going to work because let's say like one of your partners lie or something. It's not going to be that big. You can probably talk to them, mend that relationship. But when it comes to governance and governing a country for growth, for potential, for all the opportunities, you can't play with that, right? Because greed grows. Greed doesn't die off, right? I mean, unless you're a kid, but these aren't kids. We're talking about full-on adults with greed. When you talk about corruption, you can't even take a hint of it. It has to go instantly. It's like a bad apple. If you have a bad apple, it's just going to poison the bunch. Get out. As soon as he's there, get out. Because he's gonna teach maybe other people who weren't corrupt to be corrupt. And it's just this very, very like ongoing domino effect of this bad apple. Take it out instantly. If there's a little black dot on that apple, get it out, basically.
Kung walang mahigpit na pagpapatupad ng batas, ihina ang mga institusyon ng bansa. Kung walang disiplina, ang progreso ay palaging mahahadlangan ng kawalan ng kakayahan at maling pamamahala. Ilang dekada na ang lumipas mula nang ilhad niya ang obserbasyong ito. Ngunit ang parehong mga issue ay patuloy na nagpapahirap sa Pilipinas. Ang political dynasty ay nangingibabaw pa rin sa bansa. Ang mga kaso ng patiwalian ay tumatagal pa rin ng maraming taon upang maresolba, kung ito man ay maresolba. Ang tiwala ng publiko sa mga institusyon ay nananatiling mababa, habang ang mga iskandalo at kawalan ng kakayahan ay patuloy na nagpapahina ng tiwala sa sistema. Ngayon, nananatili ang isang tanong, makakawala pa ba ang Pilipinas sa cycle na ito?
Honestly, I think they will. 100%.
Muli tayong magbalik sa 1960s. Ang Pilipinas ay isa sa mga pinakaumuunlad na ekonomiya sa Asya. Mayroon itong lumalagong sektor ng manufacturing, edukadong workforce, at itinuturing pa nga bilang modelo para sa mga umuunlad na bansa.
Wow.
Sa katunayan, ang Pilipinas ay mas mayaman dati kumpara sa South Korea. Ang bansa ay may malakas na infrastruktura, lumalagong middle class at naging pangunahing economic players sa rehiyon. Pinapahiram pa nga nito ng pera ang South Korea na noon ay nagpupumilit pa ring makabangon mula sa pagkawasak na dulot ng Korean War.
That's crazy.
Ngunit habang ang ibang mga bansa tulad ng Singapore at South Korea ay nagsumikap na palakasin ang disiplina, mga reformang pang-ekonomiya at industrialisasyon.
This should inspire a lot of Filipinos that you were at a point like this rather than kind of put you down. This should really inspire you. Because I almost feel more inspired for the Philippines now knowing that they were at a point exactly like that. Because if you were at a point like that, you know you can do it again. It's kind of somebody who's overweight. If they've never been skinny, they have more of a hard time grasping that idea. But if you've been skinny before and then you got big, you know you've done it before. So it feels much easier. So I think that Filipinos being in the position that they were in the 1960s, doing better than South Korea, doing better than Singapore, and even having to help South Korea, all of these things should be an inspiration. Like, oh my gosh, we've done it before. We can get back there. We just have to do it, right? And it's one of those beautiful
Ang
things.
Pilipinas ay tumahak sa ibang landas. Isang landas na puno ng katiwalian, taguluhan sa politika at mga maling prioridad. Pagpasok ng 1970s, binago ng Singapore ang sarili nito patungo sa isang industrial at financial powerhouse. Ang pamahalaan ni Lee Kuan Yew ay nag-focus sa mahigpit na pamamahala, meritocracy at pag-akit ng foreign investment. Ang South Korea, sa ilalim ng pamumuno ni Park Chung-hee, ay magsimula rin sa agresibong plano sa pagpapaunlad ng ekonomiya. Sa pamamagitan ng export-driven industrialization, land reforms, at pagtutok sa manufacturing, mabilis na isinara ng South Korea ang economic gap at nalampasan ang Pilipinas. Samantala, ang Pilipinas ay pumasok sa isang madilim na yugto ng kaguluhan sa politika. Noong 1972, idineklara ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Sr. ang martial law. Pinatibay ang kapangyarihan at pinigil ang oposisyon. Bagaman ang kanyang administrasyon ay nakapagsagawa noong una ng mga infrastructure project, ang ekonomiya ay nagdusa kalaunan dahil sa labis na pangungutang at lumalaking krisis sa utang. Pagdating ng 1980s, tuluyan na humina ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Tumaas ang inflation, dumami ang walang trabaho at nawalan na ng tiwala ang mga foreign investors sa bansa. Talamak ang korupsyon kung saan milyon-milyon ang kinupit ng mga namumuno. Bumagsak ang halaga ng piso at ang potensyal ng ekonomiya ng bansa ay nasayang. Nakita ni Lee Kuan Yew ang lahat ng ito at paulit-ulit na binigyang diin na taglay ng Pilipinas ang lahat ng mapagkukunan at talentong kinakailangan upang magtagumpay. Ngunit kulang ito sa matatag na pamamahala, disiplina at pananagutan. Ngayon, maharap ang Pilipinas sa marami sa mga parehong hamon na humadlang sa pag-unlad nito ilang dekada na ang nakalilipas. Ang korupsyon, kaguluhan sa politika at mahinang pamamahala. Habang ang mga karatig bansa nito sa Timog Silangang Asya ay patuloy na sumusulong, ang bansa ay nananatiling nakatigil sa isang cycle ng economic stagnation na nagpapatunay na ang pamumuno at pamamahala ay maaaring gumawa o sumira sa kinabukasan ng isang bansa. Ilang dekada na ang nakalipas mula nang sabihin ni Lee Kuan Yew ang mga pahayag na yon. Ngayon, tatanungin kita, katropa. Nananalo pa rin ba ang mga tiwaling politiko sa halalan? Mabagal pa rin ba at hindi epektibo ang sistema ng hustisya? Patuloy pa rin bang inaabuso ang mga pondo ng bayan? Kung oo ang sagot, marahil ang babala ni Lee Kuan Yew ay hindi lamang isang prediksyon, kundi isang propesiya na patuloy nang nagaganap sa ating harapan. Ang mabuting balita ay, ang mga babala ay hindi kailangang mga hulugan ng kapahamakan. Sa halip, maaari silang magsilbing wake-up call. Hindi lamang itinampok ni Lee Kuan Yew ang mga kahinaan. Ipinakita rin niya na posible ang pagbabago sa tamang pamumuno, disiplina at pangmatagalang pananaw. Ang Pilipinas, tulad ng Singapore sa mga unang taon nito, ay may malaking potensyal. Mayroon itong bata at dynamic na populasyon, isang masaganang likas na yaman at isang estratehikong posisyon sa pandaigdigang ekonomiya. Ngunit hindi sapat ang potensyal lamang. Tulad ng Singapore na gumawa ng may hirap na desisyon, ang Pilipinas ay dapat ding gumawa ng matatapang hakbang tungo sa tunay na reforma. Ang pagbabago ay hindi kailanman naging madali at hindi ito mangyayari sa loob lamang ng magdamag. Ngunit kung napatunayan ng Singapore na posible ang pagbabago, walang dahilan para hindi ito makamit ng
Take
Pilipinas.
inspiration from that, exactly. Incredible. Yo, I enjoyed that video. Please, let me know what you guys think. I definitely think that even with all this, even all the things of like impending doom you may feel, the reality is this should inspire you because even Singapore was in a position similar to this. And in a place that they probably felt that it was impossible to get out of, but they managed to. And I see the utmost potential for the Philippines. So let me know what you guys think. I love you guys. Till next time. Peace. How good you been living? Wait, how good you been living? I've been living too good for you. I've been living too. Did what I did and I do it again. Every move that I make, I ain't feeling repent. Nobody believes to believe it's a friend, and you question your moves like you really won't end. Really?